The record-breaking Kangaroos march on. They first demolished St Helens. Then it was across the Pennines to Yorkshire, and Wakefield had no answer to the pace and power out wide as the Aussies won again. Wigan were next. The champions had high hopes, but Andrew Ettinghausen's second hat-trick brought another record score. And on Wednesday in Cumbria, Rugby League's lesser lights conceded over 40 points. Well, this is the Kangaroos' last match before the test. Gary Schofield's waiting for them today and next Saturday. The 1990 Kangaroo Tour moves back to Yorkshire today. Leeds, with 4 Great Britain hopefuls in their side, provide the opposition, and another big crowd has turned up at Headingley to see if last year's title runners-up can halt Australia's run. Hello, it's 36 matches and 12 years almost to the day since the Australians last lost to a British club side. Well, can Leeds do the trick today? Let's just emphasise the strength of these mighty Kangaroos by taking a look at their tour record so far. 4 matches, 4 wins, 146 points scored, just 38 conceded. St Helens, Wakefield, Wigan, Cumbria, all have been hammered. 29 tries scored by these rampant Kangaroos and only 6 tries conceded. Well, there's a real nip in the air today, but the sun has just come out here in Headingley for the Australia against Leeds fixture. And this is the side that the Australians have named today. Gary Belcher is at full-back. Michael Hancock is on the wing, he wears 2. Mark McGaw comes home to Headingley, he wears 3. Mal Meninga is in 4. And Andrew Ettinghausen, he also returns. It's a sentimental journey for him. Laurie Daly is at 6, and Alan Langer is at 7. Steve Roach wears 8, and Kerrod Walters, he's the hooker in 9. Martin Bella wears 10, and the first change from this test side, Paul Sirenen wears 11, Bob Lindner wears 12, and Brad Mackay comes into the side at lock forward. He gets his chance because John Cartwright is injured. And the coach, Bob Fulton. There's Gary Schofield of Leeds, the Leeds captain, a remarkable scoring record against Australia. 5 tries in the 3 tests of 1986, scored twice in the series of 84, the star turn on the tour of New Zealand this summer, and Great Britain will be hoping he'll do the trick again next Saturday. This is the side he leads. John Gallagher wears 1, he's the full-back. Phil Ford, the Australians know all about him, he's in 2. Simon Irving wears 3. And Carl Gibson, one of Malcolm Reilly's 19 squad, in 4. Vince Fawcett is at 5. And there's the captain, Gary Schofield, at standoff half. Paul Harkins never played against the Australians before. He breaks his duck today. Steve Malloy is in 8. Richard Gunn wears 9. Roy Powell, the other prop forward, at 10. Paul Dixon is in the 11. The second row completed by Cavill Hugh, an Australian. And the lock forward is Mike Kuiti, a New Zealander. And the coach, David Ward. The Australians, led by Mal Meninga, then come into the Leeds sunshine for their 5th match of this 1990 tour. Unbeaten so far, their last chance to get things absolutely right for the test match at Wembley next Saturday. And Andrew Ettinghausen has certainly been the star of the tour so far. His 6 tries in successive matches have surely confirmed his test place. He returns to Headingley, where he scored 30 tries in 41 appearances here in 2 spells with Leeds. He was the Headingley Player of the Year in 1986-87. And Mark McGaw is another man who's played for Leeds. He ran in 6 tries in 16 games 4 seasons ago. He too, tremendously popular here. And on his last appearance at Headingley, he scored 2 tries in a cup tie against Barrow. The floodlights on, but the sun is shining. And as I said earlier, the first nip of autumn is in the air here today. And there is John Gallagher. He's now played in 6 games of rugby league. He'll know what the game is all about after today. And after having played test matches for the against the Wallabies for the All Blacks, he'll be better qualified than most to compare the 2 codes after this. There's the man in the middle, Ray Tennant from Castleford. He was in charge of the three New Zealand against Australia tests in 1989. So the scene all set, a big crowd is packed in here as always. The turnstiles have been clicking here at Headingley, and it's the Australians in the shape of Mal Meninga to get this match underway. Australia with a stiff breeze in their faces, but with the sun on their backs. And there's the first touch for Cavalier. And Australia caught offside at only the third play the ball of the match. Ray Tennant swiftly in, penalty to Leeds. John Gallagher, the man who will kick for touch. There's Gallagher, the best rugby union fullback in the world, currently making a big name for himself here at Headingley in the professional code. Here's Malloy, big money buy from Warrington last month. Richard Gunn at acting halfback, Harkins, Schofield. Harkin organising at the play the ball, that's Kuiti. Schofield again. Gallagher, good run from Gallagher, he's broken the line. Tried to tip the ball back inside, but the Australians snapped the door shut.
Great play by the New Zealand fullback. He really went on to that pass to Garrick Schofield, and they're finding the breaks.
The job for Leeds now to keep Australia penned back in their own 22. And they've made a bit of a mess of that. Lucky for them that Langer was there. And good tackling from Paul Dixon, another of the men in the Great Britain squad for next Saturday. That hit a Leeds player, and Mackay, following up, does well. So the referee has wiped the tackle count clean. There are 6 more to go for Australia. Meninga finds Ettinghausen out wide. Ettinghausen goes without the ball and then recovers. The referee Tennant says it was a knock-on.
Good pressure by the Leeds defence there. Meninga throwing the ball out wide, but they'd moved up quickly. E.T. had overrun the pass.
First scrum feed then for Paul Harkin. Leeds get possession. Here's Schofield. Little kick for Gibson and Gallagher to chase. Hancock has to be quick and was. Gibson does well. Good run from Lindner, playing in the second row, taking the play the ball to himself. 4 Leeds players converge on Lindner. Here's Martin Bella. Another good tackling stint from the British opposition early on in this match. Daly, good play. This is Belcher. Laurie Daly. And caught on the full by Gallagher. Good tackle from Brad Mackay. Kuiti. He's going nowhere with those 3 round him. Schofield. His kicking today will be important. And he's got that strong wind at his back, making Belcher retreat almost to his own try line. There are the chasers, and Ford gets him.
Great play there by Leeds, and that's the type of kicking game that you need against the Australians. Kick it well away from Belcher and have that support up very quick.
Siranen, Meninga, oh, and he's fumbled it. Gibson swoops gratefully. The Australian captain won't be happy with that. Dixon driving down the middle. Here's Malloy, oh, and he popped it up for Bella. Steve Malloy, big money buy from Warrington, £110,000. But this is a great run from Kerrod Walters. Still going Walters. Not now. Fawcett wraps him in. Langer. Quickly through the hands, Australia. Daly looking for space. There's none there. Good play, Siranen. Looking to unload. Good tackling from Leeds again. Langer. Daly and Langer again. There's Belcher joining the line. Bella. Slipping on this lush Headingley turf. Here's Walters again. Good following up play from Mackay and Roach. And Roach trying to unload in the tackle, looking for the supporting players, only found Roy Powell.
Well, there's plenty of action out there, Eddie. Both sides, they're saying a lot to each other. There was an off-the-ball incident with Paul Dixon and the Australian centre, Mark McGaw. The crowd didn't like it, neither did Dixon.
Phil Ford. Well wrapped up by Mark McGaw. Powell. Chance Roy Powell, of course, of facing the Australians twice in a week. The Great Britain side for the first test at Wembley next Saturday will be announced by Malcolm Reilly tomorrow. And there are three other hopefuls in this Leeds side. Belcher is a certainty for Wembley. That's good tackling. Langer, lovely dummy. Schofield's all round him. Bella. It's a good defensive stint from Leeds, this. Roach. Mackay. They really are testing Leeds' defence here. Langer. Daly. The ball is held forward and it's straight into the arms of Vinnie Fawcett. And Fawcett wrapped up by Meninga. Notice the turf really is cutting up in that Leeds 22. Here's Harkin now. That's Gallagher, almost unloaded. Thought better of it. Schofield, another kick from Schofield, looking for touch on this near side. Great kick from Gary Schofield. That's the sort of form that Malcolm really hopes he'll be in also next Saturday.
Beautiful position here by the Leeds skipper, and that's a wonderful kick. Belcher had no chance getting anywhere near that.
The ball went straight in and straight out of that scrum. Referee happy with it though. Belcher, oh lovely. McGaw, but he just tossed it up looking for the man on the outside of him, and instead he's found Carl Gibson, and McGaw is down injured. Malloy. Good driving run from Malloy. Schofield. Always danger when he gets the ball. Gallagher! John Gallagher for Leeds! Schofield created it. Gallagher finished it off. And the man who's only learning his trade in rugby league gets off to a flyer against the Kangaroos.
A great try. Absolutely sensational pass by the skipper Schofield, and the smile on Gallagher says it all. And I'm sure that there's one man equally as happy, that's Mal Reilly, the coach, because that was a super ball. If he's only played 6 games, this boy, in rugby league, well, they've certainly learned quickly. Look how he comes onto the ball. The gap's through. Daly couldn't get to him, neither could Belcher. And what a great start.
John Gallagher's third try in rugby league, the £350,000 former All Black, has given Leeds the perfect start here. And Simon Irving has an important kick, but meanwhile Mark McGaw is receiving treatment and he's limping heavily, and I think he is going off. Whether the Australians will replace him immediately, we'll wait and see. But the former Leeds player, 6 tries in 16 games with Leeds a few years ago, he has not had a happy return. Of course, when he was down, Leeds got in for that try. Simon Irving then, 24 goals from him this season so far. How he would love to make that tally 25 with this kick. It's a difficult one though. And didn't reach, I'm afraid. Simon Irving, former Headingley Rugby Union star, signed in February. It was a difficult angle and he didn't make it. But we have a match on our hands. Leeds 4, the Australians 0.
Great play by Leeds there, and the centre Irving put that try down to him because he was the man that came in very quickly and crash tackled E.T.
Leeds then build again. Dixon. He will be running strong at Wembley next week as well. He's running strong here today and really getting stuck into Martin Bella. Harkin with the kick ahead. Belcher. Ford will try and wrap him up, and does. Belcher unloads. Good play, Ford. Well, the Australians really are slipping and sliding all over the place here today. This pitch is obviously a bit lush as far as they're concerned.
Makes one wonder whether Fulton and the players did actually come to the ground early to check out the condition. They could be in short sprigs.
Oh, great handling skills on that far side. And he's still on his feet. And what's more, he was injured about 2 seconds ago, wasn't he? That's Mark McGaw. Here come Australia again. Bella. Good tackling. Looked like a knock-on. This is the last tackle. Langer with the kick ahead. And it's just held up in the in-goal area. Gallagher must get out of there, but he elects to kick. Not bad tactics, actually, because it's a great kick. And there are 2 Leeds chasers following up. There they are. And what's more, he's faced by a wall now, and they've wrapped him up. Good play, Leeds.
Great tactics by the fullback there. That's the sort of game that Australia is not used to. They're really turning them back with those kicks.
Siranen, he's a huge man, so's he. He's not much smaller. Meninga takes 3 to bring him down. Langer, Bella on the charge. Good tackling. Richard Gunn taking him low down. Ball went back, says the referee. Bella again. Roach. This is the last tackle. Expect a kick here, perhaps. Daly. A high bomb. It's caught in the wind. Gallagher's underneath it and gets it and claims it brilliantly.
Wonderful catch here by Gallagher. Eye on the ball all the time.
And there's a real punch-up going on as a result of that challenge on Gallagher. Phil Ford and Roach squaring up, and look at the way the referee's trying to separate the players. Well, this has been a feature of many of the matches against the Kangaroos on this tour, and that is one of the biggest brouhahas we've had. Every player, with the exception of the 2 number 5s, Fawcett and Ettinghausen, involved.
Gallagher certainly coming under a lot of treatment. He didn't like it. That's why the referee's having a few words with him. That's the centre Irving. They were all in.
And the referee having a real word with Irving, and it's a penalty to Australia, and this is how it all started. Irving, the man.
Well, there you see Irving going in there, Eddie.
And then it all started. Look, punches really were going in there. So Irving has been warned by the referee, and what's worse, from the Leeds point of view, I suppose, he's conceded the ground by conceding the penalty. Well, this match really has got a start and a half on for us here. It really is picking up a head of steam. Sironen, so are the Australians. Mackay. Laurie Daly, meanwhile, receiving treatment on the halfway line as this move unfolds. Belcher, Meninga. The captain's going down the middle. Australia all lined up on this right-hand side. Oh, straight into the arms of Fawcett. He'll say thanks very much, and there was a punch swung on Fawcett then. He ducked underneath it. And the referee wants a word with Mark McGaw.
That was silly play by McGaw. He went in with no intention of trying to tackle the man. Right arm swinging. And the Australians are rattled.
Penalty to Leeds. They are indeed. Mark McGaw just getting a word from his captain, Meninga, just telling him to settle it down. And McGaw really has been involved in everything so far, hasn't he? He was injured badly earlier on, in the thick of the punch-up. And now he's been warned by the referee, Ray Tennant, who wants a word with Mal Meninga, the Australian captain.
This is good tactics by the referee. He's brought the two skippers. He doesn't want a fast that eventuated at Wakefield last week. But this is the way to rattle them. And there Meninga telling his team, use your brains, not your fists.
And that ball has landed right on our gantry. We've all scattered. Meanwhile, Leeds carry on with the important job. Harkin, and he gives it to Powell. Offside at the play the ball against Australia. Penalty for Leeds. Let's go down to pitch side then and join Peter Hutton now.
Well, some worries about the state of Laurie Daly's right hand. It's been bandaged. All three of the Australian physios have been having a look at it, and clearly it's causing them some worry. Other points to be made from down here. The pitch cutting up fairly badly. The curtain raiser was called off because of the worry about the condition of the pitch, and it is causing a few loose footholds out there today.
Leeds won't be complaining, though. They're ahead 4-0, and that is Malloy. Harkin misses out Schofield, finds Dixon. Well, this is as good a display in the opening minutes of a match against the Kangaroos as we've had all tour by Leeds. Harkin. That's Cavalier. Will they work a drop goal? Schofield left-footed. Just didn't quite come off. Schofield having a pot shot, but it was charged down by the Australians. I don't think it would have got over anyway.
He didn't seem to take his time. He was rushed. Should have been a little bit further back from that. A great play by the Leeds attack. They're mixing and matching. They're switching the play and confusing the Australian defence. Normally the Aussies are moving up quickly. They're hanging back and waiting for the man this time.
Yes, they're normally all in a line and coming forward at full tilt. This afternoon so far, they're not doing that. But here's a man who's picked up pace. Bob Lindner. This is the last tackle, so expect a kick from Daly. Gallagher positioned himself well. Shoot to kick again. And Meninga brings him down. Harkin, another kick from him, and that's going to arrow its way to touch, and it does. Little Paul Harkin, never faced the Australians before today. £60,000 worth of talent from Bradford Northern, and that's the reason why. Great kick.
Beautiful kick, right between the two defenders. And the tactics are right, keep it well away from the best fullback in the world, Gary Belcher.
And from the scrum, Leeds have got possession, so that's 1 against the head. 4. Oh, and almost caught his colleague Kuiti unawares there, but still Leeds roll forward. Harkin, Gallagher. Oh, well, he got it back. It didn't bounce on the floor, and it went straight back into Gallagher's midriff. Remarkable, that. Richard Gunn, dummy half. Ooh, and another high swinging arm from Siranen. But the referee saying that the Leeds player ducked underneath it.
See the replay here, and oh, well, it was very high in my book.
This is the last tackle meanwhile. Leeds still on the charge. Here's Schofield. A high bomb to test Belcher. Powell is there. The ball goes free. Referee waves play on, they're in again. Dixon! What a start for Leeds! Paul Dixon with the try, his 5th try of the season. And Leeds have opened up an 8-point gap here.
They were tipping that this man would be the man to cause the Australians a lot of problem. That's the skipper, Schofield. What an amazing kick. Bounced away. Referee Tennant says play on. And Dixon in for a try that he'll remember for many years. Look at this. And it looked like a Leeds player got his hands to it. The referee said it was an Australian one. It doesn't matter. It's a 4-point count. There we see it. Definitely looked like Roy Powell got his fingertips to it. Referee missed it. And Dixon in for a great try.
So Irving with this kick to increase the lead to 10 points. He's been in fine goal-kicking form all season, and that's number 25 of the season for Simon Irving. And the crowd here at Headingley can't believe it. And I don't think the Australians can either.
Message has been sent out to the Australians now from their coach Fulton to get them to near see the replay here.
Leeds 10-0 ahead then. And what a start for the men from Yorkshire. And what a fillip it would be if they could hold this lead till the end of the match. Looking back in the record books, Leeds' last defeat of the Australians way back in 1956. And this kicking game has got them on the back foot here this afternoon. Of that, there's no doubt. Hancock is the man in possession for Australia. Here's Bella. Does well. Walters finds Meninga, and he finds Ettinghausen. And well watched by Gibson. Roach. And the referee has awarded Leeds a penalty. Offside against the Australians at the play of the ball. Oh no, well he pointed at Leeds. Now he's called a scrum. And I don't think I'm the only one confused, Mike.
No, I think everyone here at the ground is. It certainly looked like a penalty to Leeds.
Well, forward past the ruling. Gibson, Irving, Schofield, Gallagher. Oh, well done, Gallagher. Gives it to Schofield. Goes on his own, Schofield. Ball tipped inside, and that's great play from the Leeds captain. And he looks in the mood, doesn't he? Irving. Harkin. That's Cavalier.
Good old-fashioned English football here on display by the Leeds side. Little run round, switches of play. Days of old. Certainly is confusing the Australian defence.
Harkin. Well, he's in no man's land. Daly is about to wrap him up with a bit of help from Sirenen. Gallagher from dummy half. Richard Gunn. 5 tackles gone. Schofield. Oh, and he put it out the back way, straight into the arms of Kerrod Walters.
There was hard lines by the lead skipper there, but the Australians, they're hanging off Schofield. They don't know what he's going to come up with next.
Well, it goes without saying, this is the best display from a British side on tour so far. 10-0, Leeds ahead. They don't relax, though. Langer, Daly. And the runners have stopped running here this afternoon. And the Australians are in some disarray.
Certainly there, Daly looking for his Canberra teammate Belcher to come into the line. He went in a long time.
There's a chance here though. Mackay, Belcher inside, Hancock's there, and they've got him down, and that was on the last tackle, so immediately possession switches to Leeds.
That was a great tackle by Ford. Never say die effort here by the Leeds side.
Powell. And the ball spilled out of the grasp from Malloy. Sirenen takes it on for Australia, steps through Gallagher and touches down. Paul Sirenen, his first try on tour, and that's what I mean about Leeds cannot afford to relax for a second. Sirenen of Balmain and Australia over for the first kangaroo try this afternoon.
A simple mistake, flipped up there by Bella, and look at the strength of this man. Hands off with his right, lifts, and the strength carries him over. Upper body. It's a shame here that the prop Malloy loses it. Bella flicks it up. Now watch the determination. Get away from me. Look at that. That is sheer strength and a great try.
I don't think even a brick wall would have stopped Paul Sirenen. And he's brought Australia back into the game here. A game that looked in danger of slipping away from them. Well, Meninga hasn't had his shooting boots on throughout this tour. He's only managed 4 successful kicks. I think he ought to make it 5 with this one. That's the angle he has. And it's straight and true. Jamal Meninga's 5th goal of the tour. 2 tries and 5 goals against Leeds in 1982. And there's the score. Leeds 10, Australia 6. But Australia not in the groove today.
Far from it. It goes to show what a lot of determination and some good tactics, especially in the kicking quarter. It puts a lot of doubt into the players' minds, and that's what's running through the Australians at the moment.
Coming up to half an hour gone. And that ball bounced in the in-goal area, went dead, so it'll be a drop out from underneath their own posts for Australia. And Leeds will get possession straight back.
Lack of concentration by the Australians there. They were still basking in the glory of scoring that 4 points. Bad mistake.
Daly's kick only finds Gallagher. They're 25 metres away from the Australian line. Well played. Schofield trying to run through Langer. Langer, the smallest man in the Australian team, but he's helped out there by one of the biggest, Steve Roach. Powell. Takes it to himself, Powell. Good progress. Harkin. Little kick over the top from Harkin. Belcher's back there, though, and he runs straight into Gallagher, who'd moved up. Good play from the little scrum half, Paul Harkin. Bella. Here they come again. Lindner. Good tackling, though, from Harkin. Langer. Well played, Langer. This is Kerrod Walters. Ball goes to no man's land, and fortunately for the Australians, Roach gets on it. The referee says it's 6 more. McGaw. Good skills and good strength again from McGaw. Good tackling from Richard Gunn. McGaw almost knocked his head off there, and the referee wants a word with him. He's already been involved in trouble earlier on, and he's got 10 minutes in the sin bin for kicking out with his heels. And so McGaw departs for 10 minutes. This is the reason why, Mike.
Yes, watch the kick. Dangerous play. All right, the player didn't release him. The funny thing about that, it could have been a penalty the other way. The rule says that you've got to roll away from the man to play the ball. McGaw didn't like it, but that was dangerous play.
Penalty count is now 4-1 in Leeds' favour. And Gallagher will find touch with this. Making a good start to his league career, John Gallagher. Malloy. Now the Aussies down to 12 men. Can Leeds make that advantage pay? Powell. And forced back by Sirenen and Lindner. Sheer weight there, pushing Powell back 10 metres. Kuiti. Well taken by his opposite number, Mackay. This is Harkin. Oh, and Dixon just spills it back into the arms of Mackay.
That was a shame for Leeds there, but that wonderful play, Harkin buzzing around, trying to keep the ball alive. It's confusing the Australian defence.
Penalty to Australia for holding down in the tackle. Might have been the use of an elbow as well. But Cavalier with the man penalised.
There you can see the elbow. That's silly play. Cavalier giving away vital metres.
Walters then to restart. This is Langer. Now Mackay and now Daly. That hand seems to be giving him no trouble at the moment. Langer again. Slipped again. Powell wrapped him up. Roach. Ball drops, and Richard Gunn drops on it for Leeds. Bad mistake by Roach.
Certainly was. He was trying to keep the ball alive. There was no way he could get that. And the amazing thing about this, Eddie, is that for a long time, this Australian side, they're not backing up and supporting the man with the ball.
Leeds are. This is Malloy. Gunn. Schofield. It's Kuiti. Now then, possibilities on here. Ford is there, but I don't think Ford was able to read that. Maybe none of us were. Kuiti a bit clever for everybody. 5 minutes up to half-time, and Leeds ahead by 10 points to 6. The last team to lead the Australians at half-time were Hull Kingston Rovers in the first game of the 1982 tour. Let's not tempt Providence. But Leeds on the threshold, I think, of something big here. But they mustn't relax for a moment. That's the 5th tackle. Langer with a little chip ahead. The referee says that that was an Australian arm that tapped it back, and so possession switches to Leeds.
Things looking good for this Leeds side now. They know that it's close to half-time. They can recharge the batteries in the break.
Vital times for Leeds these. We've seen on every match of the tour so far that the British opposition just folds towards half-time. But with Schofield in that sort of kicking form, Leeds are in no mood to fold here today. And look who's led the charge to bring the chaser down. Gary Schofield, Leeds captain, having a great game.
And little doubt that he will appear in the number 6 shirt at Wembley next Saturday.
The Australians come again, though. Even though they're deep in their own half of the field, they're still a real threat and pose real danger. Mackay brought down by Dixon. Roach now takes it up. Good running from Roach again. Belcher in support. That's good tackling from Leeds. Langer. Meninga. Gibson's done a good job on Meninga in this first half. Langer again. This is the last tackle. Ball went forward, I think. Referee agrees. Pulls them back. But because it was on the last tackle, possession automatically switches.
Well, Langer trying to keep this ball alive. He knew it was the last tackle. Referee Johnny on the spot, correct. And Australia, they find it very hard to find their supports.
That's the way it's gone as far as handling errors are concerned. Lots of pressure from Leeds on the Australians. I think I'm right in saying that last Sunday they made 11 handling errors in the entire match. And that kick from Schofield, just a touch weighty, just runs down.
But even though it was too long, tactics are there. They keep pushing this Australian side back. The Aussies never been allowed to get into the swing of things. And what a quiet game we've seen from Meninga.
Yes, Gibson in 4 for Leeds has done a great job on Mal Meninga. I wonder whether he's cementing a place in the test lineup at Wembley next Saturday.
I'm sure the Great Britain coach Malcolm Reilly will be impressed by him.
He's in the 19-man squad. Remember, that British team will be announced at Wigan tomorrow. We'll bring you news of that on the sports desks here on the Sports Channel tomorrow. Linda now. Good covering from Leeds, though. Into the last minute of normal time of this first half. Bella for the Australians. Roach, he got the pass away. Roach does the same. This is Ettinghausen. Ford brings him down. Last tackle coming up. Meninga, Walters, Langer. They're running it. Daly. Belcher. Ball almost drops to ground, but Lindner does well. Langer's there in support. This is great play. Belcher still going. Langer, he keeps it going. This is wonderful. Bounces off the chest of Roach. Gallagher tidies up for Leeds.
And a sigh of relief by the Leeds crowd there. Roach unable to handle the ball. There you see it. He took his eye off it just for one moment, but that was classic play by the Australians.
Phil Ford Looks to have switched wings for a moment. As we go into injury time, here he is again. Phil Ford, full-back against Australia in 1988, and he scored a try in that test match at Sydney. Schofield with the kick to relieve the pressure. And Belcher picks up speed. The Leeds wall just a little late in arriving this time, but it's there now. Daly. This is Mackay. Meninga. Oh, Meninga's strolling down the middle. He's got support from Ettinghausen and from Hancock. He looked a yard forward. Gallagher's there. He's through Gallagher. But Ford comes back and hauls the man in. Mackay. Walters. Daly. Good tackle. Didn't complete it though. Able to keep going. Langer. Belcher. Supports arrive, but he's in touch surely. Yes, the flag's up. That was Lindner who was forced into touch, and that's good defensive play again from Leeds.
Well, beautiful play by the Australians, but equal to the task is the Leeds defence. And Lindner, well, did he get it down? Oh, it's 50-50.
It looked, I'm afraid, as though he got it down. The touch judge was sure. And there's the half-time hooter. The siren sounds at the end of a very impressive Leeds first 40 minutes. And Gary Schofield, just winded after the effort of forcing Lindner into touch there, will go off to a very well-deserved half-time break. So at half-time, Leeds are ahead by 10 points to 6. 2 tries, Gallagher and Dixon. 1 try from Australia from Suriname. 10-6 then. Leeds have got the job half done. Back to Headingley, and I don't know whether you can believe it, but Leeds are ahead at half-time by 10 points to 6. The first club side to lead the Australians at half-time since Hull Kingston Rovers back in 1982. Are we on the threshold of something big? Well, Peter Hutton is down on the pitch at Headingley, and he's talking to that man, David Oxley, Chief Executive of the Rugby League.
Well, David, it must be the first half you've been hoping for as you try and build for the test match at Wembley. It couldn't have gone much better for you.
Exactly what we needed, Peter. The best performance by a Leeds side against a touring team I've ever seen. There's never been any great mystery about how these Aussies, great though they are, can be beaten. And Leeds have got it exactly right. They've controlled the ball well. Their kicking game has been excellent. They've got their tackling done. The little bit of skill that Gary Schofield has shown from short passing, long passing, has disrupted the Aussies, and this is the way to beat them. The trick is, of course, to get 17 players on the park capable of doing it and to sustain it for 80 full minutes.
If we can talk specifically about the first test now, we've had reports through of over 40,000 tickets sold. Are plans on course for the game?
Very much so. We thought 30 would be good at first. We're now confident we should get near, or we'd probably beat the record for a test match in this country, which we established at Old Trafford with the first test in '86, to over 50,000. We're very confident of that now. A huge success.
What about publicising the game in London? Because there hasn't been that much exposure, much advertising down there.
Don't agree with that. You obviously haven't been looking. It's timing in London, Peter. We took that advice from the professionals, from the London Tourist Board, from people like Wembley. If you go too early in London, you get lost with everything else that goes on. If you keep your wits and your eyes about you now, people in general, there's plenty of advertising, newspapers, tubes, buses. They know it's on. We sold nearly 12,000 tickets at Wembley alone already. They know it's on.
What sort of things are going to happen around the game on the day?
Well, of course, we've got an interesting curtain raiser, 9-a-side, London against Moscow. Moscow Spartak, who arrive later tonight and play in Wales on Wednesday night, and against Fulham on Sunday morning, playing a 9-a-side against the London Select, and many other events, the bands, the singing and so on. It's going to be a great, great day, and a wonderful game of football.
Thanks a lot, David. Let's look forward to the second half.
Thank you.
We look forward to the second half. We look forward to that first test as well. But are Leeds on the threshold of a history-making win? We shall find out after this break. And welcome back to Headingley. As you see, the players are out, ready for this second half. And Benny Elias has been introduced by Bobby Fulton, the Australian coach. and David Gillespie is also on as Leeds restart. Leeds are as they were at the end of the first half. So I wonder, Mike Stevenson, is that a measure of just how much the Australians are rattled? For the first time, they've made 2 changes right at the start of the second half.
Without any doubt, Eddie, and Coach Bobby Fulton, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that dressing room, the half-time break. You would be far from impressed. They really haven't supported the man with the ball. It's a phase of their play that they're famous for, and it really hasn't been shown in the first 40 minutes.
Harkin with another punishing kick. It's rolling agonisingly towards touch and finds touch. Great kick from the little fella. £60,000 Leeds spent on Paul Harkin's signature in the summer from nearby Bradford Northern. Australia get possession from the scrums. And that makes the scrum count now, by the way, 3-2. Penalties, Leeds favour 4-2. Top tacklers, Richard Gunn for Leeds with an incredible 26. And Kerrod Walters leading the way for Australia with 20. And Kerrod Walters, of course, taking no further part. He's been replaced by Elias. And that's a forward pass. Lindner with the ball to Mackay. Referee Tennant on the spot. Whistle blew. Forward pass.
Yes, Johnny on the spot here, and there you can see it, at least 6 or 7 inches forward.
Leeds have the scrum then and have possession. Big Vinnie Fawcett coming into the action, cutting in off that wing. Harkin, Gunn, Powell. Good break by Powell, he dropped it. Pity about that. He broke through one tackler but just couldn't hang on.
You just see the ball slip away there. Disappointment in his face. But once again, early in the second half, we see the little halfback Harkin. He's created a lot of problems for the Australian defence.
Australia get possession from the scrum. Meninga swats Phil Ford away like a fly. Can't swat Harkin or Irving. Hancock. This is Lindner, and he's dropped the ball. Ford. Now then, Phil Ford can pick up pace. Bella's got him though. Gunn, Malloy, Schofield, Cavill-Hugh, good play from Hugh. Harkin leads on the charge. Irving almost through the gap, but not quite. Schofield, Roy Powell, good tackling. Great tackling from David Gillespie. Last tackle. Schofield shapes the kick. Tosses it up to Irving. Irving gives it to Gallagher. Gallagher chips over the top. Belcher's there, and Belcher has to shepherd it over the line. Good pressure from Gallagher, and quick thinking from him as well.
This all started from Schofield again. There we see Belcher taking no chances, forcing the ball dead. A great play by the fullback, chiming in at the right time, an intelligent kick over. And once again, Australia under pressure.
Daly with the drop out from underneath his own posts. Get good length on it though, right on halfway, collected by Ford. Elias brings him in. Harkin, Kuwaiti. Malloy now. They're making good ground every time they get it, the big Leeds forwards. Harkin. Dixon. Made no ground then. And Dixon looking up at Sirenen like he's a tall tree. Ball drops, hacked ahead by Gallagher. And he does well bringing Ettinghausen in. Tackle completed by Gibson. Laurie Daly. Powell holding on to his shirt tails. Elias. Good tackling, Powell. Langer. Sirenen. Oof, he almost ran through Roy Powell again. He's a size, the number 11 for the Australians. Watch for the kick ahead now from Daly. Gallagher chasing. And it's just in touch. Gallagher watches it go. It must have been a couple of yards, no more.
Good kick here by Daly. That's how luck can go against you.
Little worm there, I think, just popped his head out and nodded it over. So Leeds under pressure here. Ford. Schofield. Here's Dixon. Gillespie. Oh, and he was dropped on Dixon by Bella. Doesn't seem any the worse for the experience. Bit of a smile on his face, I think. Or was it a grimace? Schofield again. Kicks charge down. Referee will wipe the tackle count clear. So Leeds have got 6 more to get out of the danger zone. Kuiti. Schofield. Powell. Schofield. Malloy. Having trouble getting out of that 22. Malloy just drops on it. That's the last tackle. Referee with his arm held high. Schofield's kick under pressure from Elias. Belcher picks up. Bella. Gibson's had a great game today. Good run from Gillespie. Good job Harkin managed to take his ankles. Langer. Elias. Bella. The big men are there. Sirenen. He's already got one. He's in for 2. He is. Sirenen has scored his second. And look at the delight on the Kangaroos' faces. There was danger there for Leeds as soon as the ball reached Sirenen. And for the second time, he's literally used his weight and his strength, and that's considerable to run through the Leeds line.
A set-up move here. Bella knows exactly that Sirenen's going to be there. And once again, we see the immense strength of this man. He just run into Gallagher there. Well, could have been a second movement in my book. But look at this beautiful pass by Bella. And you've got to amaze that this Balmain forward is so strong. And for my mind, that's no try.
And that's a definite double movement the referee has missed there. But remember, at the end of the first half, he struck out one for Australia when they were in the corner, it looked like on the replay. These things have a habit of levelling themselves out during the course of a game, don't they? But that looked a definite double movement as Sirenen, for the second time, rampaged his way to that Leeds line. We'll have another look at that in a moment as Meninga gets the shooting boots on and gives Australia the lead for the first time this afternoon. They're ahead 12-10 as a result of this disputed try.
Here you see the big man. Now watch, there's the line. He's well short. He rolls over. That is no try. But, as they say in the classics, the referee unsighted. He would have had to look at his touch judge here. He gave him the green light. And as they're about to say, as they say in the classics, Read it in the papers tomorrow, and it'll be 4 points.
So the Australians have the lead for the first time. They're ahead 12-10. And Schofield, from kick-off, finds touch. An intelligent kick. Remember, Leeds in this second half are up against a fairly stiff Yorkshire breeze.
That's the second time that the Leeds side have caught the Australians napping from the kick-off. And that's a problem, I'm sure, that their coach Bobby Fulton will want to try to sort out for the first test.
Those scrum counts, by the way, include one against the head for Leeds. Now they're on the charge, the Australians. Roach. Elias from dummy half. Dixon picks him off. Gillespie to Langer, to Daly, to Meninga. There's Bob Lindner. Manages to get the ball away to Meninga. This is the last tackle. Elias with a high kick. Gallagher underneath his posts, had to be brave and was. And Bella dropped on him.
He took that well. His positioning was a little bit offside. He really didn't jump for the ball, but he kept the eye on the ball all the time.
Well, they've done so well here, Leeds, but they really are pinned down on their own line. Can Leeds weather the storm, weather the intensity of these Australian challenges? They're up to the 6th tackle now, so Schofield or Harkin must kick to relieve the pressure. Schofield it is, but it goes sideways. Gibson catches it on the full, goes round one, can't get round Meninga, ball inside was forward. Fawcett picked it up. But the referee has wiped the tackle count clean, I think. He has. It was a forward pass. The referee said that Leeds were on for 6 more, but Gibson did well again.
Good play by Gibson. He got away from the other one, first tackle, and just caught by Meninga. A little bit of a poor attempt to try to get the ball inside.
Well, as a result of all that, Australia have still got a third of the length of the field to go. It might have been worse. Belcher. This is Gillespie now. Now it's with Hancock. Good tackle from Malloy, low down. Bella. Meninga. Out the back. Good play. This is Lindner. Ettinghausen again. And good tackling once more by Gallagher, by Schofield and by Gibson. That's where they are. Sirenen again. Oh, he rushes Schofield off. Can't brush Powell off. Oh, and Ford almost intercepts. Instead of that, they've given the ball back to Australia, but it was just like the Harlem Globetrotters for a moment then. And the referee explaining his reasoning and his decision to the Australian side.
Well, a big fellow trying to keep the ball alive here, and Ford just couldn't take it. And he's given that Ford knocked on first.
Well, it's actually Leeds who get the feed from the scrum. That's why there was the discussion going on with the entire Australian team and the referee, Ray Tennant. It looked like Ford had knocked on first. Mr. Tennant saw it differently. Powell. Schofield. And here's Kuiti. Langer's wrapped him up. Schofield again. This is Cavalier, back to Schofield. And the openings certainly aren't there as they were in the first 40 minutes. Leeds really have had to weather an almighty storm at the start of this second half. Dixon surrenders possession to Meninga. This looks ominous, and it is ominous. Ettinghausen, the remarkable try-scoring run for Ettinghausen continues. But the referee has disallowed it. The referee has disallowed it. It was a forward pass, he says.
He certainly took his time, the referee. Now Meninga, miraculous pass this. Looked okay to me, but it was a bad angle.
Meninga's pass ruled forward by the referee. So Leeds breathe a sigh of relief. But watch Australia go now. They've had their tail tweaked.
Well, it's the old story, I'm afraid. How long can an English club side keep going at this pace? The Australians, they have no problems with 80 minutes. We unfortunately do have that problem.
The tackling all square for both sides. And Schofield with a relieving kick. But Belcher gets it before it goes out of play. But at least it's pushed the Australians back up towards halfway. Hancock wrapped up by Powell. Elias from dummy half. Gillespie slips, but keeps it going with Langer. Langer to Roach. This does look ominous. Roach looking to unload, but again the supporting players weren't there. Roach is having a real wrestling match with Schofield. Here's Daly. Now Langer. Oh, he's been picked up. Irving, the man in possession, and they still haven't got him down. Now they have. Powell. Malloy keeps it going. The crowd really are behind Leeds here. 2 points the difference. 10 to Leeds, 12 to the Australians. Here come Leeds now with Gallagher. Great break from Gallagher. Just lost his feet. And the referee says it's a knock on.
Just squeezed out there from Gallagher, but once again, Schofield bringing in the fullback. Great play. Here we see him just after he's received it. And it took good defence to halt his progress. But Schofield really is finding the gaps there.
Meanwhile, Leeds have made a substitution. Gary Devorty is coming on, and Steve Malloy is taking a well-earned breather. Devorty, his first senior appearance of the season. He'll have to be quick to stop Meninga and Belcher. Oh, and surely then Gibson was pulled back by Brad Mackay. The referee's whistle has gone anyway. It's a scrum down.
Well, there you see Gibson just halted. Ettinghausen onto it, but is deemed to have been knocked on.
Leeds head and ball. Was that feeding? Irving brought the crowd to life a minute ago with that run. Gibson. Fawcett. Big lad for a winger. That's the situation. Deep into this second half.
A silly mistake there. Bad mistake by the winger. Releasing the ball just as he was about to get up and play the ball. And that's the type of thing that Leeds don't want at this stage. And there you see it. Maybe a little bit of help by the Australians as well.
Oh, and that was a mistake by Meninga. He spilled it. So there really is some errors going on out there at the moment. And the one thing that Leeds are doing here this afternoon, Mike, they're proving these fellows are fallible.
They certainly are, and the old story that you can't go without your legs. They've tackled very well indeed of Leeds.
Shoulder charge by Daly on Irving. Devorty. Harkin. That's good play from Kuwaiti. Looked a bit forward. Referee not impressed. Harkin. Dixon. Well, Sirenen round his legs. That was almost a la Sirenen from Dixon. This is Gunn. This now is Cavill-Hugh. Powell in support, lost the ball. Elias for Australia brings it away.
Good play once again by Leeds. They're keeping it alive. This Australian defence is bamboozled.
Like a roach, the forwards really are getting up ahead of steam for Australia here. They're running powerfully. Daly with the kick ahead. Gallagher has to come across to pick up, leaves it to Ford in the end. Now Gallagher's there in support if Ford needs him. He doesn't at the moment, still doesn't. Great run from Ford, but well picked off by Langer. Kuiti. Schofield. That's Devorty. Back this season from a summer in Australia. Schofield taken quickly by the big number 12, Bob Lindner. Harkin with the kick ahead. Straight into the arms of Ettinghausen.
Been a great game this, Eddie. The crowd loving it, every minute of it. And I'm sure that the Rugby League will be very happy with this. It must at least look 10 to 15,000 on next Saturday's first test.
I'm sure you're right. Elias drops it. Harkin gets it back for Leeds. He is there underneath the figure of Sirenen.
Here we see Elias trying to be too crafty. The impact shook the ball away as he hit the ground.
Cavill-Hugh taking it up for Leeds. I notice over on that far side that Paul Delaney is warming up. And I hear that Paul Harkin is limping rather heavily. There he is, just coming into your picture there on the left-hand side. So, and he's with the ball now, Harkin. It would be a shame if Harkin had to go off. Devorty with the kick ahead. Ettinghausen for Australia, though. Oh, and it's almost, again, an interception by Irving. Almost. His right arm shot up, the ball went forward.
Well, this was a try. If Irving could have pulled it in, he couldn't. And Ettinghausen having a word with Belcher. Belcher far from happy. There was no fullback there. Belcher had moved into the attacking position.
Delaney comes on and Headingley rises to Paul Harkin, who takes a breather. Harkin with an injury. David Ward first to greet him as he goes to the trainers' benches. And I wonder that will be a significant moment in this magnificent effort from Leeds. Or will this be? Daly, what a great player he is. Hancock. Roach. Only knows one direction, Steve Roach, and that's straight forward, straight down the middle. Takes the play of the ball to himself. Shrugs the trackle of Dunoff. This is Bella. Bella running and driving his way down the middle. Powell doing well. Langer. Belcher. Belcher, great run from him. Still going on his knees. 16,000 people inside Headingley hold their breath. The Australians are within 10 metres again. Elias. Out the back door. Mackay. Belcher. Roach misses it out. Lets it go to Daly. Oh, Daly's in. Well, he mightn't be. Elias might be. But not anymore. Who's that? Mackay. Oh, the Australians giving the ball loads of air. And what's more, they've got 6 more tackles. The referees wiped the count clean. I don't think Leeds can hold out. Lindner's in. Bob Lindner with his first try of the tour. But the look on the faces of the Australians, they know they've been in a match here at Headingley.
Sheer relief there. And he's well earned this, Bob Lindner. He's had a big game today. Took it on the blind side. The strength was there. And for once, the Leeds defence just wanting. Good play there. Strong run. Good try.
Yes, a great try from Lindner. Crowd have gone quiet. 6 points now is the difference. Of the 28 tourists, by the way, who are on this tour, 22 in the Australian colours have now scored points on this tour. It just shows the strength that that nation has in Rugby League Day.
Certainly does, but that particular try there, I'm sure, brought a great sigh of relief by the Australian coach, Bobby Fulton. This game is far from over, but he'll be very pleased indeed that they got that 4-pointer.
Meninga then with this effort to increase the lead to 8 points and take a bit of the pressure off his men. And it just goes wide of the posts. So we're still in a match, and the Australians know it. 6 points the difference. 16 to Australia, 10 to Leeds, and just 26 minutes gone of this second half. So Leeds are keeping it going. They're a score away.
And obviously that injection of Gillespie and Elias to the second half has helped them.
Belcher. Good tackling from Delaney, just on. Great Britain under-21 international. The two subs in the thick of the action there. Well, they're keeping the momentum going. Belcher. Good play from him. You say there's no Lewises, there's no Sterlings. This is an all-round team, and there are one or two stars out there. Daly, for my money, Belcher, Langer. They're all great players. Gallagher collects. Uses a bit of his speed. Can Ford use his speed? Irving, maybe. Powell. And did Powell release that? He did. Referee was not unsighted then, and he saw that the ball came out of Powell's grasp. A knock on. The mistakes are coming, Mike.
Well, it's a tired outfit now, this Leeds side, but they've certainly done well. It's given the Australians a lot of worry for the test.
Belcher. The line opens up for Belcher. But well done again, Carl Gibson. What an excellent game Gibson's had. 15 to 14, by the way, the handling errors in Australia's favour. They've made one more than Leeds. Elias now. The Gillespie. 10 metres short. A couple of tackles still to go. Langer. Daly. Mackay outside him. Daly's going on his own. He's given it to Ettinghausen. Is this the moment for Ettinghausen? It is. No. Referee's disallowed it again. Forward pass. The second time Ettinghausen's seen a try. Struck off the list. Referee Tennant on the spot.
Daly kept this ball alive. Plenty of strength here. Plenty of attention from Irving. And E.T., well, he certainly won't have Mr. Tennant on his Christmas card list. As you said, Eddie, that's the second time he's been robbed.
Well, that's untidy. Scrum down, and another scrum called. It was a knock-on by Delaney. And so another scrum, and this time Australia have head and feed. And that ball hardly went in. Hancock has it, though, for Australia. Daly in possession now. Now it's with Belcher. Bella. And Martin Bella, I hear, has lost a contact lens out there. Oh, Daly drops it. There have been errors from this Australian team today. If the British boys are watching this, they'll know that there are chances for them at Wembley next Saturday. And Australia have seen the ball for 4 minutes longer than Leeds. And they lead 16 points to 10. Schofield. So the game for the last 10 minutes or so seems to have been played almost entirely in the Leeds half. That's the 5th tackle again. They've got to kick. Gallagher. Good kick from him. It's into the breeze though. Belcher gathers it in. Good tackling Delaney on Gary Belcher.
You've got to hand it to this Leeds side. They really have tackled well. They've moved up quickly, applied the pressure. It's something that Australia is not used to.
And a lesson for the British boys watching this. This is what they have to do next week in the test. Meninga, Langer, Daly. Good covering back by Gunn and by Ford to bring him down. Langer again. Sirenen. Strength of him. And that surely is not allowed. The referee absolutely right. Sirenen taking the tap at the play of the ball to himself. He was marked at the front. It's not allowed.
Well, you see him move off the mark and run sideways. Referee correct.
Paul Sirenen's had a big game though for Australia today. 2 tries from him, although one we think was a double movement and should never have been allowed. 6 points the difference then. Schofield, I think, is worn out.
He's had a hard game, but I'm sure he's played good enough to get into the 5-8 spot for Great Britain next Saturday.
Gallagher round Belcher, can't get away from Meninga though. Devorty, Irving, Delaney, Schofield, delaying and delaying and delaying, now releases it, gives it to Dixon. Australia back in numbers. It's great defence. Perhaps if Schofield would have just shuttled that ball out wide, the chance would have come for Leeds. As it is, it's untidy ball. Referee says scrum down.
Well, that passage of play we saw Schofield there, he's out of puff, there's no two ways about it. He's had a very, very hard game.
And substitutes coming on. David Young in 17 with his head bandaged, and Lazarus behind him in 16. That's David Young, former Welsh Rugby Union international. And also David Crease is on. So some fresh legs have been called for by David Ward. Powell has gone off, I see. So too has Gibson. He's had a magnificent match, Gibson.
It's a hard job keeping Mal Meninga quiet, but he's done that today.
Referee having a word with Meninga and Langer about the tactics at the scrum, possibly. Australia allowed to keep the feed. Belcher with a kick ahead, and it's now a question of who's got the freshest legs, and there's a race on between the two number 5s, Fawcett and Ettinghausen, and Fawcett content to hack it into touch. Gallagher was away from home, he wasn't there, and the Australians saw this, and it was a race between the two number 5s, the two wingers. Fawcett won it on that occasion. But it's going to be a drop out from under the sticks by Schofield. Look at the way it's caught in the wind. Gillespie has it. The pitch really has caused the Australians a problem. Not kept their feet much, but when it has mattered, Sirenen certainly has.
They're going to find that problem the same at Wembley next Saturday.
Here's Sirenen again. Looking for a hat-trick. Langer to Daly. This is Elias again. Oh, they've opened up. The gap's opened up for Elias. Gallagher must pull him down, and does. Leeds hanging on by their fingernails. Another 6 tackles, and they remember Ettinghausen got over for one of those tries that was disallowed from a situation like this. Can Leeds hang on? Daly, Belcher, Meninga, that's the match. Meninga's wrapped it up for Australia, and the stamina has told in the end.
And it took them until 5 minutes to the end of this game. Leeds really have worked well. Good play though by the Australians. Elias, a long ball out wide. Daly moved it out. Belcher chiming in, and it was easy in the end. They just run out of numbers, Leeds. They moved in well. Ford, who's moved into the centres, out of position. You'll see it more here. Schofield lost a leg. A dive in to try to stop the pass. Not good enough.
And so Meninga has the chance to improve his own try. 20 points to 10 at this stage. But no doubt the Australians today know that they have been in a match. They have a week off till the test next Saturday. And you get the impression after this Leeds effort that that really will be a test match. Meninga with the kick then. That one's come around, and that's better from Meninga. His third goal of the afternoon for Mal Meninga. That's the scene here at Headingley, and that's the score. Australia have won it in this second half.
He'll be well pleased with that Meninga. He needs to have his goal-kicking boots on next Saturday at Wembley. But as you said, Eddie, we put a lot of doubts in these Australian minds. It's not going to be easy.
Don't forget, you can see the first test in our usual Sunday evening slot next week. Here come the Aussies again. Hancock. But he released the pass, trying to keep it going, and Irving was able to drop on it for Leeds. No need to do this.
Silly play there. The game's won. Should have gone to ground with it.
Dixon for Leeds. He's worked hard. All the 4 Leeds candidates for places in the test squad and test team rather must really have given Malcolm really something to think about here today. They've all had excellent games. Gibson, Schofield, Powell and Dixon have all played well. Laurie Daly shaking his head, not agreeing with that decision. Now, last effort from Leeds, possibly. Schofield with a kick ahead. Looked like obstruction by big number 16, Lazarus. Referee allows the Australians to go on. Gunn can collect and does. Referee said the ball went back. Dixon. Gunn.
I think
David Young.
The most important thing about this game, Eddie, is the fact that the Australians can be breached if a side is prepared to take it to them. Mix the play, switches of play.
Well, all the Leeds crowd thought that another try was on the way for their team then, but the referee had blown long before Phil Ford spilled it. So it wouldn't have mattered. Greg Alexander now on and feeding the scrums. There's been no walkover about this, though, after the way the Australians have marched their way through Great Britain so far this tour. This has been a supreme effort from Leeds. And there's the full-time siren. The referee blows the final whistle. It's all over. Australia have won by 22 points to 10. Mal Meninga leads the Kangaroos, still unbeaten. But my word, what a match they've had. And Paul Sirenen, number 11, 2 tries for him. If Great Britain need to heed any warnings, it is perhaps about the strength of the forward power of the Australians. But 16,000 people turned up here today, and Leeds have put on a royal show. Leeds 10, Australia 22. It was won in the second half for Australia after they were struggling to find their form at half-time. Next week we move to Wembley. We'll see you there. Goodbye.